Jaya Girivara Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Janabala Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana 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 Jaya Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Gopi Janabalabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana 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 Jaya Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Everyone, Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. So today we're reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 15, Text number 27. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this chapter is entitled Parashurama, the Lord's Warrior Incarnation, text number 27. Atha Rajani Niryate Rama Ashrama Agata Shrutva Tattasya Dauratmyam Chukrodhari Ivahataha Atharajani Niryate Rama Ashrama Agata Shrutva Tattasya Dauratmyam Chukrodhari Ivahataha Atharajani Niryate Rama Ashrama Agata Shrutva Tattasya Dauratmyam Chukrodhari Ivahataha. Anyone else from the men? Vaishnavis? Shrutva tatasya dauratmyam chukrodhahi rivahata tata rajani niryate rama shrama agata Shrutva tatasya daurmatyam chukrodhahi rivahata atharajani niryate Rama ashrama agataham Shutva tatasya dauratmyam Shukrodahi rivahata. Word for word, please repeat. Atha, thereafter, Rajani, when the king, Niryate, had gone away, Ramaha, Parshuram, the youngest of the Jamadagni, the youngest son of Jamadagni, Ashrame, in the cottage, Agata, returned, Shrutva, when he heard, Tat, that, Tasya, of Karta Viryarjuna, Tauratmyam, nefarious act, Chukradha, became extremely angry. Ahi, a snake, Iva, like, Ahata, trampled or injured. Translation. Thereafter, Kartavirarjuna, having left with Kamadhenu, Parshuram returned to the ashram. When Parshuram, the youngest son of Jamadagni, heard about Kartavirarjuna's nefarious deed, he became as angry as a trampled snake. Okay. Ghoram adaya parashum. So there's no purport. I'll just read till the next purport, which is text number 30. Ghoram adaya parashum satunam varma karmukam anvadhavata durmasho mrigendra iva yuthapam. Translation. Taking up his fierce chopper, his shield, his bow, and a quiver of arrows, Lord Parshuram, exceedingly angry, chased Kartavirarjuna just as a lion chases an elephant. So Kartavirarjuna had stolen the Kamadhenu, the desire cow, from Jamadagni. So his son is very angry with him and pursuing him. Text number 29. Tam apatantam briguvaryam ojasa dhanurdharam bana parashvadha yudham aineya charmabaram arka dhamabhir yutam jatabhir dadrishe purim vishan. As King Kartavirarjuna entered his capital, as King Kartavirarjuna entered his capital, Mahishmatipuri, he saw Lord Parshuram, the best of the Brigu dynasty, coming after him holding a chopper, shield, bow, and arrows. Lord Parshuram was covered with a black deer skin, and his matted locks of hair appeared like the sunshine. It's a very beautiful sight there. Text number 30. Achodaya dhasti rathashva patibhir kadasi banarshti Shatagni Shaktibhi Akshahini Sapta Dashati bhishnanas te Rama eko Bhagavan asudayat. Translation. Upon seeing Parashuram, Kartavirya immediately feared him and sent many elephants, chariots, horses, and infantry soldiers equipped with clubs, swords, arrows, rishtis, shatagnis, shaktis, and many similar weapons to fight against him. Kartavirya sent 17 full akshahunis of soldiers to check Parashuram, but Lord Parashuram alone killed all of them. Purport. The word akshahuni refers to a military phalanx consisting of 21,870 chariots and elephants, 109,350 infantry soldiers, and 65,610 horses. An exact description is given in the Mahabharata Adi Parva, 2nd chapter, as follows. I'll script the Sanskrit and read the translation. 1 chariot, 1 elephant, 5 infantry soldiers, and 3 horses are called a pati by those who are learned in the science. So 1 chariot, 1 elephant, and 5 soldiers, infantry soldiers, and plus 3 horses is a pati. The wise also know that a senamukha is 3 times what a pati is, so 3 into that. 3 senamukhas are known as 1 gulma. 3 gulmas are called a gana, and 3 ganas are called a vahini. 3 vahinis have been referred to by the learned as pritana. 3 pritanas equal 1 chamu, and 3 chamus equal 1 anikini. The wise refer to the 10 anikinis as 1 akshahuni. Akshahuni, yes. The chariots of an akshahuni have been calculated at 21,870 by those who know the science of such calculations. O best of the twice born, and the number of elephants is the same. The number of infantry soldiers is 109,350, and the number of horses is 65,610. This is called an akshahuni. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiltamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Lord Parashuram is a Shaktivesh avatar, and he's the son of Jamadagni. The Kamadhenu cow was stolen by Kartavirya, who one time was roaming in the forest as kings do. He was hunting. He was also with his entire army. He was accompanied by his army, ministers. As you know, if an important person comes, along with them, other people come. So like if we have a minister come to the temple, sometimes they are flanked by their subordinates, right? So when a king comes, he brings his army with him, and so other important people as well. So they were going in the forest, and they came across the ashram of Jamadagni. So, and he very respectfully greeted the guest, and the guest was a king. So he treated them very nicely, and he had a cow, the Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling, desire-fulfilling cow. So he could serve them very lavishly, which you would not ordinarily expect in a forest. So in a forest, if you get a guest, imagine you're a brahmachari in a forest or a sage practicing tapasya, and then some people come to your ashram. What will you give them? Perhaps some fruits, some roots, right? It'll be pretty raw, some raw food, because you won't have much facility to cook and source lavish preparations. But Jamadagni, because he had the cow, the Kamadhenu, he was able to serve them very opulently. So whatever he desired was provided by the cow. So then Kartavirya thought that this sage is much more wealthier and powerful than I am. Even I don't have such facility. that I can get whatever I want. So then he felt insecure, and then he asked his men to steal that cow, and which they did. They took the cow back to his kingdom, and when Lord Parashurama came back to the ashram, he was dressed in black deer skin. So he was infuriated because he saw that their cow was stolen. I mean, anyone would be if your animal or pet has been stolen, especially a cow, then naturally you would be infuriated. So he was very upset, and he pursued, as we just heard, he pursued Kartavirya to teach him a lesson and to retrieve the cow, the sacred cow. So it's, amazing pastime of Lord Parashurama. And in the process, he also killed the Kshatriyas 21 times. And that was the inquiry why he had killed them multiple times. So, back in the day, demons were killed. We also heard that. We read in Krishna book, in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, there's demon after demon has been killed. Putana, Kamsa, Bakasura, Agasura, right? The list just goes on and on. Mushtika, Chanura, Kuleapida, like so many were killed. So before the demoniac forces were killed, and Krishna says that he appears once in a day of Brahma, right? He says that in Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter. I appear millennium after millennium to establish religion, right, and curb irreligion. That's why Krishna appears. So he appears to, one of his purposes is to curb irreligion, because irreligion is coming in the way of spiritual prosperity or spiritual advancement. So what is irreligion? Irreligion is adharma. So dharma means to worship Krishna, to surrender to Krishna, and to become a devotee, to practice Krishna consciousness. That is real religion. So anything that is against that is irreligion. So Krishna comes once a day of Brahma, he sends his representatives to squash irreligion. But in Kali Yuga that doesn't work, because the problem is everyone is irreligious. That's the problem. Before was a minority of the population, minority section of the population was irreligious. Most were religious or fairly religious. So such extreme measures, such lenient measures were perhaps not required in previous ages. But so then Krishna would come and just kill the demons, and that way he would also perform his pastimes, not only of killing the demons, but also reciprocating with the devotees, engaging in his transcendental loving pastimes, to demonstrate that he's a person, and he also performs leelas, by which we can become attracted. And that is a way of absorbing our mind in Krishna's activities. Name, form, Nam, Guna, Rupa, right? So, and leelas. So we can be absorbed in Krishna's pastimes that way. But in Kali Yuga, that doesn't, Krishna doesn't do it, because then he has to kill everyone. Right? So this is the pastime of Jagai and Madai. So Jagai and Madai were the riffraffs of society. They were the rogues of society, and they would do the unthinkable. They would insult everyone, cause a lot of mischief, commit a lot of crimes, and especially insult the devotees. So one time, when Lord Nityananda was going on Harinam Sankirtan, as instructed by Lord Chaitanya, he came across these two brothers. So he implored them to chant the holy name of the Lord. So was it Madai? Madai, right? Who struck? So Madai out of anger, because he could not appreciate what the Lord was giving him, out of anger, he struck the Lord in the forehead. And Lord Nityananda started bleeding. So when the news got to Lord Chaitanya, he was furious. So Lord Chaitanya rushed to the scene, and with his Sudarshan Chakra, he was about to chop off both of their heads. He was about to kill them. But then Lord Nityananda, he implored him, right? Your name is Patita Pavana. So you cannot kill them, because they are representative of the population of Kali Yuga. So if you kill them, then what is the hope for everyone? So, but they were then told to seek forgiveness from Lord Nityananda, which they did. And because they did that, they were reformed. And they ended up becoming great devotees. So much so that everyone was shocked. People were shocked, and they would come to see that spectacle, see that sight, that they have become devotees. Became a big news. And people wanted to see the transformation. It's like sometimes our relatives are also shocked, our friends, that we have become a devotee, right? Maybe initially they all came to see you. Perhaps to talk you out of it. So people are shocked by the transformation that has happened. So the people were shocked, so they came. And because Lord Nityananda told Lord Chaitanya, you're Patita Pavana, you cannot kill everyone. So in Kali Yuga, the process of liberation is through the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So it is Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Right? So in Kali Yuga, the process of chanting the Lord's holy names is the process of deliverance and achieving the highest goal, which is Krishna Prem. And to that end, ISKCON engages in various activities, right? To that end, the Srila Prabhupada, he set up this institution, which is basically an organized religion. People are sometimes rattled by the word organized religion. But an institution is nothing but an organized attempt to achieve the goals of that institution. So the goals of ISKCON is to give people Krishna consciousness, is to share Krishna consciousness with the world. And one of the 7 objectives of ISKCON is to distribute the transcendental literature far and wide. Right? So that is one of the objectives of this organization. And Srila Prabhupada, he always placed great emphasis on the distribution of knowledge. Because you can teach, you can feed someone, you can give a hungry person a meal. You know, there's a saying, you can give a hungry person a meal. But you can't, again, they'll be hungry. It's not to say that giving food is not important. In fact, that is very important, because if someone is hungry, they can't even hear. So sometimes we have to also solve people's immediate needs, which is to give them something to eat, shelter and clothing. So when they're comfortably situated, then they can hear what you're saying. But the problem with a lot of charities in this world, especially mundane charities, is they don't go beyond that. They cater for the material needs, but then they stop there, and they're unable to cater for the spiritual needs. But the what's unique about Srila Prabhupada's movement is we are catering for the spiritual needs of society. We are catering for the spiritual needs, right? And why? Because we are the spirit soul. We are spirit soul in a material body, and we are part and parcel of Krishna. So just like we have our bodily needs, which is to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. So, eating. Then there's the emotional needs, mental needs. There's, right? So people engage in some maybe artistic pursuits or different things, musical pursuits. These are emotional needs, or to have in relationships Then there's intellectual needs. You want to read something or teach something or analyze something. So beyond these, there's also spiritual needs. And mundane welfare works, they stop here. But in ISKCON, we go beyond that. So in ISKCON, we understand that we are the soul beyond the body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So the spiritual needs are met by distribution of the holy name, distribution of prasadam, and distribution of knowledge in the form of giving lectures and also in the form of distributing the books. So distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. These are ways to distribute Krishna consciousness, to meet spiritual needs. So today is Bhadra Purnima. Gopalandesh Prabhu called me yesterday and asked me to speak something about Bhadra Purnima. So I will make an attempt. Bhadra Purnima is a very special day. So Purnima means full moon, and Bhadra is the month of August, September. So it's the Purnima in this month, and this Purnima is considered to be extremely auspicious. It's considered to be extremely auspicious. And people do a lot of, in the Hindu calendar, it's considered to be an auspicious day. The reason is it's a great reason from this Purnima, like the Shraddha Paksha, or also known as the Pitra Paksha starts. And that goes till the new moon of Ashwin. So it's glorified as a very auspicious day to perform devotional service. And in performing devotional service, it is most auspicious to gift this knowledge to others on this day. In fact, this is mentioned in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam itself. In the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 13th verse, it says, Praushthapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Simha Samanvitam Dadatiyo Bhagavatam Sayati Paramam Gatim. So there in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in the Bhagavad Purana itself, it says, if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Śrīmad Bhāgavatam on a golden throne, just like we have on the altar, devotees have made a throne and they've placed multiple sets of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam there. So, if the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is placed on a throne and then given as a gift, he or she will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So this is mentioned in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the potency of Bhadra Purnima. So this is it's not a symbolic statement, but it's actually a direct promise from the Bhagavatam itself. So it's not symbolic. We shouldn't think, just put it on the throne and it's symbolic. But it actually means that if we do it, there's the potential to reach the highest destination. And this is considered to be the highest charity. So distribution of knowledge is very important. Just like, even materially speaking, as I was saying earlier, you can distribute food. But if you teach someone how to make a living, then they can solve their food problem, right? If someone is just struggling to make ends meet, and you perhaps teach them a skill, how to make a living, how to make some money, then their food problem is solved. So in the same way, if we distribute knowledge, if we distribute Krishna conscious knowledge, then we are solving the world's real problems. Because the world's real problems are based on avidya, on ignorance of the self. So the problems in the world, just like there was a big anti-migration rally that took place last weekend. The huge rally. Sentiment in the country is, among some people, and maybe not everyone, but among a minority, that a certain section of people, migrants, are a problem. And we want them out of the country. That is just based on bodily consciousness, right? We want certain demographics to be out because they're taking away all our jobs. They're taking away opportunities for us. So we want them out. And there was a bit of racism also among a minority of groups. So, but that is based on the bodily conception of life, thinking we are the body and we are a certain group. We are, like the white race is superior. There were white supremacists there as well. Like the neo-Nazis who were saying, openly they're saying, the white man is superior man. That is just bodily conception of life. So that is based on ignorance. And they're saying, okay, other nationalities, they need to go back. The brown people and the Chinese, they all need to go back. But that is based on the platform of ignorance. So we can see on a practical level, by the distribution of Krishna consciousness, it solves the world's problems. And as Prabhupada would say that Krishna consciousness brings the true United Nations. So United Nations is trying to solve the world's problems by bringing all countries together and then have a discussion and work it out. But we see the problems don't get solved. But actually the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and of Lord Krishna have the solution to that problem. Because they take us beyond bodyism. He, him, she, her, they, them. So these are all like, plurals. They are based on the bodily conception of life. So people are so confused about their gender because the confusion is because it is based on the bodily conception of life. So this knowledge actually takes us beyond that. It makes us understand we are the spirit soul and we are separate from the body and we are part and parcel of Krishna. So when we understand that, we don't place so much emphasis on the body. The body is there, the needs of the body have to be met. So the needs of the body is to eat, right? Is to have good relationships, is to exercise. So there's various needs that I spoke about. So those needs have to be met. But at the same time, the spiritual needs also have to be met. So that's why Srila Prabhupada placed great emphasis on the distribution of this knowledge. And Bhadra Purnima is that one of those very auspicious days. And on Bhadra Purnima, essentially, we are giving charity, right? So essentially, we're giving charity. And ISKCON is also like a charitable organization. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about importance of charity, and charity in the three modes of nature. So why is giving charity important, if we analyze that? Giving charity is important because, number one, it reduces, for the giver, it reduces attachment. That's why it is emphasized in scriptures. Especially in the Grihastha ashram, we are very attached. So when we give away something, it reduces attachment from material objects or towards material objects, right? So you're giving it away. Number two, it also develops an attitude of service. Number three, then, or three or four, it expands the heart and it fosters a sentiment of compassion for others. Right? That's the whole basis of charity. It's compassion, detachment, and an attitude of service. So then Krishna talks about charity in the three modes of nature. So in the 17th chapter, text number 20, he says, Dattavyam iti yaddanam diyate anu pakarine deshakale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smritam Charity given out of duty, without expectation of return, at the proper time and place, and to a worthy person, is considered to be in the mode of goodness. So Krishna is talking about charity in the mode of goodness. So charity in the mode of goodness is something, it's given out of duty. And is given to a worthy person. It says here that charity is given to a worthy person, not to an unworthy person, at the proper time and place. Then that charity is in sattva gun, and it has an uplifting effect on the giver. So yeah, that is very important. It is important to do that. However, also the person receiving it also has to be a worthy person or a worthy organization. So what makes a worthy person? So when you're giving charity, you normally expect what you're giving for is what it's used for, right? Otherwise, you lose trust. It's just like someone, if they bring a bag of rice and they leave it here, but then someone takes it home and eats it or makes meals, then you lose faith and confidence. So in the same way, when donations are given to a person or an organization, then that organization has a responsibility to also show how the funds are being used. So when that is done, that instills faith and donor confidence. So if someone is giving $5,000 or $100 or $50,000, then they should be able to see how it's being spent. So when that's happened, then it's given to a worthy cause. So the cause has to be worthy, number one, and also it has to be used in that way. If it's not used in that way, then one loses faith. Then one can rightfully say, why should I give if I can't see how it's being spent, right? Or if there's questions on that. So that is important. And I was saying, as the cause also needs to be very worthy. So what's the highest cause? The highest cause is Krishna consciousness. That's the highest cause, is the spreading of the Sankirtan movement. That is the highest cause. That is the highest charitable cause. And then when resources go there, then that cause can be, because to do anything you need resources, right? To run an organization or a cause, you need resources. So when resources come, then that cause is magnified. The effect of that cause is magnified. Sometimes people give to unworthy causes as well. Like one time I was in Crossways. I was eating prasadam outside, sitting outside and eating. And one person came to me, said, "I'm very hungry. Can you give me some money?" I said, "All right, I can buy you a meal from inside, from Crossways. How about that?" I said, "I can buy you that vegetarian meal." And he got very upset. "Oh, vegetarian?" And he started yelling profanities at me. Vegetarian, I won't say what he said. But he yelled some profanities and said, I don't want that. I said, "Then I can't help you. Go away." So we have to give to someone who will also, who is worthy of it, right? One time I was in Fitzroy on Smith Street. I was going inside Woolworths, and there was a beggar sitting outside. He said, "Can you give me some money? I'm hungry." I said, "All right, okay. I can buy you some fruits from inside. How about that? Fruits." He said, "Can you get me a chocolate?" I said, "Okay, I'll get you a Kit Kat." Then he said, "Can you get me a beer?" From BWS. I said, "No, mate, you're not getting a beer. I'll get you a Kit Kat and some bananas. How about that?" He said, "Okay, just get me that." So the person also has to be worthy. Otherwise, if we are giving to such a person, then we get implicated. If I buy him a beer, then I'm just furthering his addictions, and then I'll also get a reaction. So that's very important. Then Krishna talks about charity in the mode of passion. Oops. So charity in the mode of passion is basically given begrudgingly and seeking result, seeking something in return. That is charity in the mode of passion. So when someone gives something, they don't want to really give, but they're just giving it, right? And they're expecting something in return, which is very common. So they're expecting either some tangible benefits or some intangible benefits, like respect or name, fame, recognition, and then also they're expecting something in return. So that is charity in the mode of passion. And then charity in the mode of ignorance is the opposite of charity in the mode of goodness. So it's giving to an unworthy person at the wrong time, wrong place. That is charity in the mode of ignorance. So the highest charity, or the best charity, is giving Divya Gyan, is sharing the knowledge of Bhagavatam. And why the knowledge of Bhagavatam? Because the Bhagavatam is the Amala Purana. It is the essence of the Vedanta Sutra. So Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the essence of the Vedanta Sutra. It is the ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. So that's mentioned in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the first canto, first chapter, the third verse. So Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the Amala, the spotless Purana. And if one hears from it, from the right source, if we hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in the parampara, then we can get liberation. So when we distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada is the Acharya, he's coming in the parampara, and he has given his Bhaktivedanta purports. And in those purports, when someone reads those purports, their heart gets transformed. So I myself came through Srila Prabhupada's books. So I used to come to the temple, this was in 2002 or 3. I was coming to have darshan and prasadam. Prasadam was, as usual, upstairs, Sunday feast. I would have the Sunday feast, and then there was a devotee called Gopal Guru. He was the vice president. He would take note I was coming, and he would speak to me. And one day he gave me a Bhagavad Gita. He said, you should read this book, and tell me what you have read next week. Give me an update. I said, all right. So I took it home, and it was a softback. I read it. I couldn't get past two sentences. Just in the introduction or the preface. I couldn't get past 2 sentences. So I went back to him next week, and he asked me. I was trying to avoid him. So he would ask me. But he came to me, he said, so tell me what you've read. I said, well, I can't even remember to begin with. And I've only read 2 sentences. I can't go past that. It just doesn't make any sense. He said, okay, keep having prasadam and keep reading. So every week he would try to get an update, and I would avoid him. But somehow he would catch me and then ask for an update. And I was just stuck at those 2 sentences. So that went on for some years, for maybe a couple of years. And then as I'd graduated from university, or towards the end of my graduation, I'd started to, I don't know what happened, but I started to look deeper. So then I went to a friend's home. By then I had lost that copy of the Bhagavad Gita. So I went to a friend's home. Funnily enough, he was just on Beaconsfield Parade. And there, I found a Bhagavad Gita, the 1972 edition. So I read that book, and this time it made much more sense. Perhaps I was seeking, that's why. And I'd also started to change my diet to a vegetarian diet. Slowly, I started to make that transition. And then I read this time I read it, and my friend said, just take the book away. He said, take it away. I'm doing a lot of pap. So you take the book away. He was from Rajasthan. He was from a Brahmin family. He said, I'm doing a lot of, pap, sinful activity. You take this book away. This is drinking, right? All that. I said, okay, I'll take it. So I took it home, and this time I read 4 chapters. And then Srivamsa Prabhu called me out of the blue. I knew him from when I met him in my first day in university. So he called me trying to sell his car. That time he had some Nissan car. He was selling it. I said, I don't drive cars, I ride motorbikes. And I had a motorbike. So then we just kept chatting, and he said, what are you up to? I said, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita. So literally fell off his chair. And then he asked me, who's the author? I said, it's Prabhupada. He said, okay, that's amazing. You got to come to Mangal Aarti. So I had spoken with him on Wednesday, and Friday I was here for Mangal Aarti. He brought me to Mangal Aarti. So Srivamsa Prabhu is my Vartma Pradarshak Guru. And he brought me to Krishna consciousness. So I'm very grateful to him. And then I would stay with him and Kripa Siddha Prabhu in Bhakta Bhavan every Friday, and Saturday come to the Bhagavatam, come to the temple, attend the morning program, and Nrsimha Kavacha Prabhu would be giving Bhagavatam classes back then on the 10th canto. So I would listen to them. And that way, it leads, everyone has their story when it comes to Prabhupada's books. So these books are very powerful. If we hear them from the right source, from the Acharya and from the devotees, then these books have a purifying effect on the heart. And we can even see Parikshit Maharaj, he heard the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So Parikshit Maharaj had 7 days to live, as you know. He was cursed to die of a snake bite by Takshaka. And so he had 7 days to live, and he summoned all the sages. Shukdev Goswami appeared there. And Shukdev Goswami was elected as the leader of the sages, and they heard the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam from him. Parikshit Maharaj heard and inquired from Shukdev Goswami. So we see, and then he went back to Godhead. He was able to quit his body successfully. Not that he was a devotee anyway, but he heard the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam it says, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shuka mukhad amrita dravya samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukdev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. And Lord Chaitanya says, Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Says, whomever you meet, speak the science of Krishna. So, one way it is done is by the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books. And when I was a brahmachari, I was also engaged in distributing these books. Book distribution on the street is one way of doing it, but that's not the only way. So that is one of the harder ways of doing it, because that is like cold selling. You have to stop people on the street. They're extremely busy, they're running. You have to stop them, you just have like few seconds or a minute at most, and somehow you have to convince them to take this book. And Srila Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, distribute my books. So that is one way of doing it, but it's not the only way. And these days we see that ISKCON has devised of various other ways of also distributing books. For example, putting books in, there's street libraries, right? So devotees have been putting books out in the street libraries, in libraries, in prison cells, various places, in hotels like in United States, Canada. Some people who have hotels, devotees have sold Bhagavad Gita, given them Bhagavad Gitas to put them in the hotel room. So there's so many ways. If you can't do it on the street, it's not the end of the world. There's other ways that can be devised to distribute books as well. And the Bhadra campaign is actually started in 2018. So the Bhadra campaign, back then, 7,000 sets of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam were distributed. So the Bhadra campaign is about distribution of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam sets. So 7,000 were distributed, and since then, the number has been growing consistently. And in 2023, 50,000 Bhagavatam sets were distributed all across the world, which is a huge number. And this year, the goal is 68,000 sets to be distributed. So, and I was asked by Gopamandesh Prabhu to also read out Melbourne Temple's goals. So these are temples from all over the world doing it. So Melbourne Temple's target is 480 sets to be distributed by today. So far, we reached 411 sets, which is amazing. So that's how many left now? 69? Is that right? No. 59, right? The math's wrong. Huh? 69, yes. So 69 more sets to go. So today is the day to do it, if you can do it. And as it says in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, that if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Śrīmad Bhāgavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift. Interesting, it says gives it as a gift. Perhaps on this day we should give it as a gift. Leading up to this we can sell it, but here it says to give it as a gift. I have one Bhagavatam set sitting in my home. I'll see who I can give it to as a gift, because it says we should give it as a gift. So I'm not sure what the system is. Devotees sponsor it and then they give it. I don't know the specifics of it, but you can reach out to whoever's in charge here if you're interested in giving a gift to someone. Perhaps you could sponsor a set and give that as a gift to somebody, to someone you know, someone who's worthy of that. So it's amazing. And in distribution of books also, just one final point, we also have to be very careful how we present ourselves. Because we are representing Srila Prabhupada. So we have to be careful to represent Srila Prabhupada properly and in a respectful and dignified manner. Like when I used to distribute books, the way I saw, like sometimes devotees would approach someone and say, "Hey, are you from Melbourne?" And they say, "Yes," then here, we're giving away these books to people. So I also did that for some time, but then I was politely and rudely, and sometimes rudely, reminded by people, by the Australians, that you're saying if you're giving away the book, that means it's a donation. So now why are you asking for money? So then after some time I thought about it. I thought what they are saying is actually correct. So then I changed it to, we are showing people these books, and in exchange we're asking for a contribution to cover the cost of the printing. So you have to be careful what you're saying also. Because when I was saying giving, then some people said, "Okay, you're giving, I'll walk away with it. Why are you asking for money?" So then sometimes you just have to make a slight change. So I just made a change. We are showing people these books, and in exchange, I would just be very upfront with them. We are showing people these books, and we're asking for a contribution to cover the cost. And then whatever they would give me, I would just take it, whether they gave me less or more. If they gave me less, I wouldn't push them so much to give more, because then someone else would give more and it would work out at the end of the day. So you have to be also very careful in how we are presenting ourselves. Otherwise, people can walk away with a very negative impression about the organization and about you. So you have to be careful. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhadra Purnima ki jai. Any questions or comments? Yes, Mataji. Okay, the answer is in the purport. Can you bring the 12th canto? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so it says, if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Śrīmad Bhāgavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. Do you have a golden throne? These days, an ounce of gold is very expensive also. An ounce of gold is like, what, $6,000 or something? So a throne will be many kilograms, very expensive. But in the purport it says, one should place the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam on a golden throne because it is the king of all literature. So yeah, it's basically treating the book with respect. If something is very important, you treat it with respect, right? And if you put it on a throne, that means it is of prime importance. So then one can put it on a throne according to one's means. If you can afford a golden throne, it's well and good, or a gold-plated throne. But otherwise, you can put it on any throne. It doesn't really matter. The idea is to respect the book and share it. And then it says, on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, the sun, which is compared to this king of literatures, is present in the constellation Leo and looks as if raised upon a royal throne. According to astrology, the sun is said to be exalted in the sign of Leo. Thus, one may unreservedly worship Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the supreme divine scripture. So, yeah. So, because the sun is present in the constellation of Leo, it looks like a golden throne. And the sun is golden, right? So, it's said like that. Yeah, you can put it in a golden throne or any throne, like here. Devotees have put it, they've made a throne there, right? So a throne has been made according to the means we have, and then the main thing is the distribution of it. Thank you. Good question. Hare Krishna. Anything else? All right. We'll end here then. Thank you for your kind attention. Hare Krishna.